Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the FIFA Flow podcast. Today guys, we got a bit of a short video today. As you guys can see on the screen, yet again, we're going to be doing a FIFA 23 EA Sports Team of the Season. Today guys, we have a Premier League Team of the Season. Now, I think it was 2 podcast episodes ago, we did a similar Team of the Season vote. However, it was for a Community Team of the Season. And this Team of the Season, the Community Team of the Season, is based off of players who have done well, but not compared to other players in their specific league. So, for example, like Lafont, like he did well in the Ligue 1 season, but there's better keepers in the Ligue 1 who were nominated over him for the Ligue 1 Team of the Season, such as Steve Mandanda and like Donnarumma and stuff like that. However, like Lafont was still like a like you have your nominations, and then you have what do you call it, the honorable mention. So these are your nominations, and then you have an honorable mention as well. Like, so these are your honorable mentions who have not made it into the nominations for the Team of the Season of their specific, I guess, league. So today guys, we have the Premier League Team of the Season released by EA Sports FC, or not EA Sports FC, EA Sports whatever, EA Sports, you already know, EA Sports company, Team of the Season regarding the Premier League. And I kind of want to go over the goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders for my Premier League Team of the Season. I also, as you guys can see, of course we have Transfer Market and FOTMob up, so we can take a look at some stats of some of the players. And I also have the old podcast, I have the podcast episode from two podcast episodes ago. 5 days ago this was released. Season 3, episode 43. I have this up because towards the end of that podcast, we actually did a Team of the Season votes on the Community Team of the Season. And there are some arguably messed up decisions here by EA Sports regarding how players got nominated in the Premier League Team of the Season. Like how players are nominated in the Community Team of the Season, like not good enough for their league, but not in here, like. You'll see what I mean. So let's start it off with goalkeepers. And this is where I'm talking about Kepa, man. Kepa, I don't know how the heck Kepa has got in here. Personally, like, I think he's had a pretty decent season. I feel like in the past few games, like against Real Madrid, he had a few pretty good saves. So I feel like he's worth a shout, I think. What happened to Edouard Mendy? Was he injured for most of the season? Is that why Chelsea suck? Because they've been running Kepa most of the season. I'm not quite sure what happened to Edouard Mendy, but like I don't know how Kepa is in here, but David De Gea is not in here. So personally, I think that's a joke. I think Kepa, because I think that Community Team of the Season is for players who, like, they've done well, but just not compared to other goalkeepers in their league as well. At the same time, I guess it's at the end of the day, it's EA Sports. It's a video game, so it's not realistic. And what they want to do is they want to take good like let's say David De Gea and Alisson were the top 2 Prem players, Prem goalkeepers. They can't put them. They can't put them both in one team because there's only one goalkeeper in the Premier League, who can get a Team of the Season. So what they do is they split them into 2 separate votes. So then it's 2 different teams, so they can earn money like from this team and from this team. You get what I mean? So at the end of the day, EA is just a money scam. At the end of the day, they're gonna do anything. But I'm gonna kind of look at this as a realistic way. And realistically, man, I don't know how Kepa and even Leno, man, I don't know how these 2 players, how these 2 goalkeepers are even in the nominations for the Premier League Team of the Season. I as I just explained, like even Sommer, man, I don't know who's done better than Sommer this season in the Bundesliga. Neuer's been injured, so you can't give it to Neuer. Like, I'd say that's pretty messed up. So yeah, as I said, I'm gonna look at this as a realistic way. Just to keep in mind, it is EA Sports, as I just mentioned. They are a scam. The reason why they put David De Gea in a separate vote is that so he can get a card as well, and people will be like, oh, I'm gonna spend money to try to get David De Gea, and then when the Premier League Team of the Season comes out, I'll spend more money to try to get Alisson. But if they were both in one vote, only one of them would get it, and then they would wait for only one of the teams to come out. They wouldn't spend money on the first team with a trash goalkeeper instead. But for me, looking at it at a realistic way, no ways Leno and Kepa should be in the nominations, man. That is a joke. But Allison, yeah, I think he deserves it. It is arguably like a. I do understand that, like, I mean, what are Chelsea or Liverpool are like eighth in the Premier League. I do understand Liverpool are eighth, but I don't really think Liverpool being at eighth has to do with Alisson's role in the Liverpool squad. I think Alisson has still been a great keeper, so I think he deserves to be in the nominations. Ramsdale, of course. I mean, it's one of his best seasons. I think still penalty wise, Ramsdale is uh, pretty bad at saving penalties. However, I mean, he's done well at winning games, keeping clean sheets. Hopefully, he can do that against Man City next Wednesday. That for sure, whoever wins that is gonna probably go on to win the league. So hopefully, Ramsdale can show up, kind of block Holland from scoring too many goals. Of course, I mean, not just Haaland, man. I think Man City have a lot of fantastic attackers who are capable of scoring goals. But I think Haaland is that main guy, so hopefully Ramsdale can um, show up in that game. And I think Ramsdale, of course, Arsenal being at the top of the league, as I said, keeping those clean sheets. He's still a bit iffy, like on the ball, like when he has the ball at his feet, he's still a bit questionable, as well as with penalties, as I said. But other than that, Arsenal being first, I think that also gives him a huge boost at being up there in the nominations. Nick Pope, I mean, guys, Nick Pope, man, uh, Newcastle, man. I mean, they didn't really spend much this season, and they're in a top four qualification. They're in a Champions League qualification spot for next season so far. So that is pretty crazy. I mean, if we take a look at stats by, like, can we take a look at stats by Nick Pope? I mean, yeah, in the Premier League only 30 matches. So he's played all 30 games um for Newcastle United this season. 13 clean. I mean, yeah, sorry guys, I'm not showing it on here. My bad. I'm just looking on my phone. But yeah, 30 games, 13 clean sheets, 2 out of 4 penalty saved. So that is really really solid. And in that, like keeping like with those 13 clean sheets, that is huge. And I think that's a huge factor to why Newcastle United are in that top four qualification UCL spot for next season. I think he's done great, so he deserves to be in there. Now, Leno and Kepa, as I said, I don't know how they're on this nomination. For me personally, I'm gonna take David De Gea from the community team this season, put him in the nomination for the Premier League team this season, as well as I think David De Gea is a huge factor. Him and Cristiano Ronaldo, not only this season, even last season, carried United. Um, Before the World Cup, of course, Allison carried United, or David De Gea carried United in that back line. We can yet again let's take a look at the stats that David De Gea has this season: 30 matches, 14 clean sheets, no penalty save. But I mean, like when you take a look at United's backline, it's definitely solid. They got like Varane, the Central Martinez, Luke Shaw and stuff. But at the same time, we can definitely say like a lot of the goals that United score can definitely easily be blocked by or defended better by United's backline. So then it puts more pressure on David De Gea. So I think David De Gea, for what he's able to do with the backline that he has, I think he's doing a good job. So yeah, almost half of the games he's had a clean sheet, as I said, carrying United. So I'd put him in here, as well as Ederson, man. I think Ederson, I mean, United or Man City have been killing it in the Premier League. Now, Ederson, 0 out of 3 penalties saved, only 10 out of 30 clean sheets. But I think, man, still Ederson. I think I mean, when you take a look at stats wise, like compared to what am I trying to say here? When you take a look at stats compared to the clean sheets for a certain amount of games compared to these keepers that I mentioned and David De Gea, I think for sure Ederson is definitely at the bottom. However, Ederson, man, the reason like it is because the way that Man City play, the way they play from the back, I think Ederson is great on the ball, so he's great at playing at the back. Like they don't really have to worry about that. Like with keepers like Donnarumma, Sommer, And Ramsdale, I think they have to worry about more playing from the back because they're not really great on the ball. But with Ederson, I think he's great on the ball. Of course, Brazilian taxman passes the Brazilian check. Uh, but um, but yeah, I think that's a huge thing is playing from the back. He's great, so Man City can kind of play slower from the back. Um, as well as I think oh yeah, getting the ball up like really quickly. I mean, we've seen that multiple times with Allison where they just boot it up to Salah. And I think Ederson is great at that. Of course, you already know he's probably. I think he's like the keeper, the keeper of like all time to hit it the furthest or something in Premier League, at least for sure. Like he's booting up the ball, great. And one what was I gonna mention? Yeah, and I think another thing that, as I said, stats wise, it doesn't show it, but on the ball it shows. Like kicking the ball up, it really shows as well. And on top of that, I think because of the position that Man City are in, not only in the Premier League in second place and making the comeback to first place, but also in the Champions League, I think that's also a huge factor. I mean, keeping a clean sheet against Bayern Munich, that's definitely a difficult job. Bayern have been killing it this season. So I think Ederson has to be in this shout as well. But for me, guys, I think Nick Pope, great player. If I had to put it in order, I think personally for me, I think Ederson. Actually, I think if I had to do a Premier League team in the season, like because these guys are a joke, I think for me it'd have to be David De Gea has to be the team of the season keeper for the Premier League. But based off the votes, yeah, I think for me, based off the order of the five keepers that I mentioned, I think David De Gea first, Ederson second, um, Ramsdale third, Allison. No, actually, no. I think I'll do Allison third, Nick Pope fourth, and Ramsdale fifth. I know Arsenal at first, but I think just Nick Pope has had a great season. I mean, Ramsdale's also had a great. It's definitely a difficult one. I think maybe I'll tie Pope and Ramsdale. It's just whether do I put Allison over Ramsdale and Pope. The only thing that's argued, like, do I put Allison over them because he's good, or does he go below them because of the position that Liverpool in? Because I also don't want to base this off of because Liverpool are doing bad, it doesn't mean a certain player is doing bad within the Liverpool team. You get what I mean? So I think David De Gea first, Ederson second. I think I'll put Allison third, and then Nick Pope and Ramsdale tied at fourth, or Nick Pope fourth, and then Ramsdale fifth. I think that is my order. But based off of what EA Sports is allowing me to rate over here, I guess we'll go ahead and do Allison. But realistically, I think Ederson or David De Gea would be my Premier League team this season. Let's go on over here. Look at the defenders that we have. Now, we also had a few defenders here. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Robertson. I think there might be volume here. So, ooh, no, we missed it here. So, yeah, Robertson. And Nathan Ake. I think personally for me, Nathan Ake had to deserve a Premier League team this season. I think he has to be in there. Like he has to be in the nominees here. I don't know why. Why me here? Why is me here, guys? No, I'm joking. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really watched Brentford. Maybe he's done good for Brentford. But I think Nathan Ake, man. I mean, Man City were willing. They gave up Cancelo. They let him go on a half a season loan, and even gave a buy option to Bayern Munich to let him go, like to let him leave for like they don't need him for the next season either. Like they're willing to do that because they trust Nathan Ake. I think he fits well in this Man City process, and with Pep Guardiola's like how the way that he develops players, like he did with Kimmich, turning him into a beast, man. He's doing that with Nathan Ake as well, and I think all Nathan Ake, he's good at intercepting the ball, tackling, getting a clean tackles and stuff. I think he's great. He's like he's like really good at that. I think all he really needs to do is, because of the way Man City play in that passing game, I think as if he improves his passing a bit more, which he has, he's doing some really good crosses and pings like moving the ball really well in that back, playing from the back. I think he just needs to improve a bit more of that, and he's gonna be a very very good defender. So I think personally for me, Nathan Ake has to be in my Premier League team of the season. But based off of what EA Sports have given me, I think everyone else is for sure clear. I don't think they're really missing anyone. Um, so for me, I think Saliba has to be in there. Now, I don't really want to do two Arsenal players. I think that both of them have been great. Like one of the best duo center backs in the league this season. But I think for me, like there's definitely other players I'd rather choose, such as Lissandro Martinez. As I feel like after he joined that United team, you can see a huge shift, like a huge progression in the back line. He's a leader. I mean, we've talked about this before. The reason why Varane hasn't really played at like a level that we've seen that he's played before at Real Madrid is because Varane is someone who needs a leader beside him, and that before I think it was 2019 when Ramos got injured, or 2020. Like when was it? Like after the World Cup and stuff. After Ramos got injured, he didn't have that leader beside him, and he didn't really play at like he did when Ramos was beside him. So after Lissandro Martinez came, Lissandro Martinez a leader. He's a really good player defensively. He fights for the ball. Of course, he won the World Cup as well. I know this is a Premier League team of the season, not a career team of the season. Um, but I think that also has a huge factor to it. And after he joined United, I think Varane also started playing better because he had that leader beside him, which was Lissandro Martinez. Left back for me, I think Luke Shaw. It might have to be Luke Shaw. Now, this is where I struggle because I want to also put him Zinchenko, man. I think he knows how to win, and I feel like that's a huge factor to why Arsenal have been so good in the back line. Is like Zinchenko knows how to win the ball. He knows how to win the Premier League. With City, I think he's won 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 Premier Leagues. I don't know how long he was there for. Was he there for all 5 years where City won all 5 years with Pep, or was he only there with 4 years with Pep and he only won 3 out of 4? Not quite sure, but I feel like because of what he brings like from Man City, he has that like passion to win the title. He knows like he's solid going up on the pitch. He's really good. So yeah, and Luke Shaw, man, like not just at left back, like he's good at going up, even in defense, man. He knows how to like play center back to mark centrally within the box, tracking back, as I said, going up, sending those crosses into the box. He's had a few of those plays. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't really watched Newcastle a lot this season, but I really have heard um, that Kieran Trippier from Atletico de Madrid has had a extraordinary season. I mean, stats wise, it doesn't really show it, but I think based off of what my knowledge is of this team of this season, I'm gonna go with Luke Shaw and Zinchenko. As I said, I didn't really watch Trippier this season, but Ruben Diaz as well. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna put in Ruben Diaz because I feel like I feel like Ruben Diaz always does good every season. But what makes Martinez and Saliba and Luke Shaw and Zinchenko look better than Ruben Diaz is because they've had a more, I guess you can say, a glow up season from previous seasons. You get what I mean? I think Ruben Diaz is still a top center back, but I think the glow up, like you can see the change in which these players brought to their team this season. You get what I mean? Like they've really they've changed the the movement, the pace in that back line for their team. But Ruben Diaz, he's still been a top player, but it's like the same as previous years. He hasn't really done better than last year. You get what I mean? He's still top, but yeah, that is just my opinion here. Let's go to the midfield. There was one player in the midfield. But I think for sure, if I had the option to put Nathan Ake, I think for sure Zinchenko would get dropped and Nathan Ake would go into that left back position where he does play in real life as well. Now let's just take a look at the midfielders here because I think there is one midfielder from the Premier League that I wanted to put in. So Bernardo Silva, I mean, I haven't really seen him on in the Premier League. I haven't really seen him play in the Premier League, But I think like in the Champions League when I see him play against Bayern, man, he was killing it. Let's just take a look. As I said, I don't really like to look at stats. I feel like stats don't show the ability of the player. Um, but if you do look at stats, even rating, let's take a look at rating. Bernardo Silva. Like I feel like he's had better seasons. He's definitely for sure had better season. Last season he killed it. Even a season before, I think he's for sure had better seasons. Um, but as I said, like even over here, when you take a look at his 28 games, 4 goals and 5 assists, that doesn't show the technical ability that he brings to the Man City team. So I feel like for that reason, he should still be like nominated in this Premier League team this season. I'll definitely put him in there. But if we go to look at midfielders, Declan Rice, he has a shout. There was one more. No, I guess there wasn't. So let's go ahead and see who we have here. I think Kevin De Bruyne, surely. I think these two right away, straight away go in. Casemiro brought a true CDM. He showed the Premier League what a true CDM means. He's running that midfield in the United team. Like United's midfield finally look alive compared to previous seasons in the past 2 seasons. Like defensively, he knows how to go up as well. So I think he's brought that true CDM role. Kevin De Bruyne, man, I feel like he's so overhated. Maybe a bit. Do I say overrated? I think overhated. I think he's so overhated. Man, this guy's a top Premier League team, Premier League center mid. Arguably, for me, I think arguably top 3 center mids of all time in the Premier League. I mean, who else is there? Like Stevie G for sure. Roy Keane, man, that guy was a beast. For United, Stevie G, Lampard. There's definitely other players. Maybe I don't know, man. Kevin De Bruyne, though, I feel like he's so overhated. I mean, he's physical. He knows how to win the ball back, and definitely in the attack, especially, he knows how to get the ball up. Really good. Like he in the passing game, he's great. I mean, let's take a look at his stats. I mean, as I said, I really don't like looking at stats, but I think we'll still take a look at it. Stats wise, take a look at the squad in the midfield here. Kevin De Bruyne. 28 matches, 5 goals and 15 assists. In the Premier League. Keep in mind that's only in the Premier League. We take a look at FA Cup, 3 goals, 3 games, 1 goal, 2 assists. EFL Cup, 2 games, 2 assists. We keep on looking here. Club friendlies. No, but let's just take a look at club friendlies. That was club. No, that was just friendlies. I don't know if that's club friendlies or national friendlies, but 1 goal, 1 game, 1 goal, 2 assists. Champions League, 6 games, 1 goal, 3 assists. UEFA Nations League, 5 games, 2 goals, 1 assists. Now, I don't want to look at national stats because this is a Premier League, mainly within the Premier League. And as I said, stats-wise, I don't like looking at stats, but the player that Kevin De Bruyne is, he knows he's composed all game long. He has the connection. He knows how to find the ball, make that ball pass into Erling Haaland. And this season, man, this guy's made some extraordinary passes. This guy's over here. Instead of making the pass inside, he's doing like an outside foot, he's like curving the ball around in the top here, and then like I don't know who exactly it is, but he's like curving the ball outside of the player rather than with inside of the player. This guy's making some of the craziest passes as well. He's like the Luka Modric of the Premier League, so I think he has to be mentioned in there. Now, Rodri has had a great season I think he's one of the best seasons for like his career. Bruno Guimaraes as well. McAllister winning that World Cup. I think McAllister doesn't deserve a shout. I think Bruno, Rodri, and Odegaard. I think Odegaard, man. The way that he runs, I think Thomas Partey deserves a shout in here. He's not going to go in the final 11 team of the season of the Premier League, but he definitely deserves a shout. Thomas Partey. maybe even like Shaka as well. But Odegaard, man, I think we have to put Odegaard, man. The passes this guy's making, defensive. He's like physical. He's like good at like blocking off players to keep the ball, keep possession. Knows how to move the ball within that Arsenal team. I feel like almost every attack, the ball goes at least 2 times to like the ball goes through Odegaard at least 2 times. He's always involved in the attack in almost every goal. Like whether it be the assist or switching the play from one side to another and then they attack, I think he's definitely involved in almost every attack with a key pass. And I think Rodri deserves an honorable mention. We'll talk about honorable mentions after. But I think that is my midfield team of the season. And then in attack, Haaland, of course, breaking records for Man City. This guy has 47 goals or 47 games, I think. Let's take a look. Erling Haaland, man, what a season this guy's had. 28 games in the Premier League, 32 goals and 5 assists. Holy, bro. Holy moly. That's only in the Premier League. We look at FA Cup, 2 goals, 3 games. EFL Cup, 2 goals, 2 games, 1 goal. We take a look at Champions League, 7 games, 11 goals, 1 assists. We take a look at yeah, everything else is national, but like national, I think on a national level, Erling Haaland is not the best because of the team he plays for. But on the Premier League, on a club level, this guy's probably the best player like this season in the attack, not only the Premier League, in the world. I think right wing we have to put Saka in for sure. Maybe he's slightly overrated, a bit overrated, just slightly, but I think he's had a very good season for his career. I would mention Salah as well, but I think because of the position Arsenal or Salah or Liverpool are in, that's gonna drag him down. As well as I think that Salah also like I think he doesn't get as many goals because they can never like I feel he's definitely like he missed a penalty. He even missed the whole net penalty against Arsenal at home as well. That is pretty crazy. So at Anfield. So I think Saka, man, I think he's definitely involved a lot in that Arsenal attack. And then I think for me, Rashford also in there. I think Rashford probably. I mean, what's Rashford's record this season? I wrote it down here because me and my friend were having like an argument of who's better, Osimhen or Rashford. 47 games, 28 goals, and 8 assists in all competitions for club level for Manchester United. For Rashford, definitely he's coming back from Rashford from his past few seasons to back to his 2017 version. So 2017 Rashford is back, so I think he has to go in there. Now honorable mentions, as I mentioned, for me, team of the season for Premier League, not based off EA Sports, is definitely David De Gea. And then honorable mention probably Ederson, but based off of the choices we have here, we'll put Alisson in. In the back line, Nathan Ake for sure goes in for Zinchenko, but an honorable mention will have to go to Zinchenko, Ruben Diaz, and Gabriel. All 3 of them. In the midfield, I think honorable mentions has to go to Rodri, Bruno Guimaraes, as well as Thomas Partey. And then in the attack, my honorable mentions are have to gonna be Gabriel Martinelli. He's had an extraordinary season, like going down the wing, crossing it in, finding either Gabriel Jesus or Bukayo Saka. He's really, really good at going down the wing, cutting, like he goes down the flank or the cuts inside and goes near post as well. He doesn't even have to finesse it far post. Able to have that ability to go near post, really, really good. So I think Martinelli has to be a shout. I think I'll put Salah up there as well. And Grealish, man, I feel like I'm gonna be honest. I think Grealish is gonna be. I don't think Mahrez. Definitely not Nunes, guys. Definitely not Nunes. But I think for me, this is gonna be a surprise. But I think Grealish is gonna be my honorable mention. My 3rd honorable mention in the attack for the Premier League team of the season. I feel like I know he's had a few bottle jobs and like in the attacks, but I feel like he's definitely had a pretty decent season. Like 24 matches, 5 goals, 6 assists. I feel like he's definitely involved. Like he's good at like getting the ball, going down the wing, passing it back into the box, and then like they build up from there. I feel like he's really good at going down those wings. So I feel like I know it might be a surprise, but I think for me, Jack Grealish is gonna be in there for sure. Guys, that is my Premier League team of the season. If you guys enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell. If you guys, I actually posted a video on my Instagram story on my personal account. So links are down below. About my thoughts on tomorrow's Champions League game. So let's just take a listen at that. Let's just watch the video. Real Madrid versus Chelsea. I think Madrid will easily win this one. Madrid having the 2-0 lead should help them, and with Chelsea's current form, not the best. All Madrid will really need to do is drop back and play more defensively. For that reason, Madrid will easily go through. Yeah, so as I mentioned, guys, yeah, Madrid already having that 2-0 lead. That's huge at the Bernabeu. We'll see, because as I mentioned yesterday, I was pretty surprised when in the first 10-15 minutes when Chelsea they were actually playing pretty solid, but then it just broke all apart. I mean, Chelsea's form is so bad this season. They lost 2-1 to Brighton just this last weekend, so that is horrendously bad. They've only won like 1 or 2 games after the huge 200 million transfer window market in the winter in January, and they've only won 2 games, bringing in Enzo Fernandez, João Felix. Who's that other the left wing? Who's the Ukrainian, bro? What's his name? Whoever that Ukrainian guy is, I forgot his name. I can't think of him. Let's just take a look. Chelsea. Okay, tomorrow. Mudryk, guys. Yeah, Mudryk, and they've only won like 2 or 3 games after the 200-300 million transfer window in the winter. But yeah, as I said, Madrid, with the way they play, of course, they are different. And as I mentioned as well, all they have to really do is sit back, drop back, play more defensively, and they should be good to go. Versus Inter Milan was a surprising game for the most of us. I think it's going to be a similar game to Madrid versus Chelsea in the second leg, where Inter are going to be a team who will sit back. I think Inter will concede at least 1 goal. However, on aggregate, I think it still will be a 2-1 win for Inter Milan. So yet again, as I mentioned here, guys, I think it was definitely a surprising game for most of us, seeing Benfica lose 2-0 to Inter Milan at home as well. They lost at home in Portugal. And now they're going to be going back to the San Siro, one of the craziest atmospheres in Italy. Legendary stadium as well. They're going to be heading to the San Siro, being down 2-0. And as I mentioned, similar to that Madrid game, I think Inter Milan will play a bit more defensively as well. So it's going to be a tough one for Benfica. I think Benfica will put pressure. I will say, though, that sometimes when Inter does go up in the attack, they do look a bit sloppy in that midfield. But I think they're still a solid team. I think it's going to be a draw 1-1. But yeah, as I mentioned, on aggregate, Inter will still win. Versus Bayern Munich. I mean, this season, Man City are on a whole other level. Both teams are a physical team. Bayern do have the pace advantage compared to Manchester City's backline. However, I think the passing game is going to hit Bayern yet again. First half, I do think we will see a surprise of Bayern making a comeback 2-0. However, I think in the second leg, both teams will score 1-1 on aggregate. Man City will go through winning 4-3. Lastly, yeah, as I mentioned yet again, guys, Bayern are both Bayern and Man City, 2 physical teams. And as I mentioned in the past 2-3 podcasts, the only way to counter a physical team is either be physical and also play a passing game, because you can get out of an isolated situation or a pressing situation. So, and with the way that Man City play, they have both of those things. They can pass around, and when you do press, so when you have a physical presence, the passing game will make another team go and press, and when that team presses, they get out of position, and then now they have that free place. They have a like they drag them out of position, and now the position they were supposed to be in is now open, and then the counterattack, they're vulnerable to a counterattack. So the way that Man City play, I think they're really good at countering Bayern. I do think we will see Bayern score at least like 2 goals. It's gonna in the first half, but then I think in the second half both teams will score 1-1, or at least like maybe not both teams score 1-1, but I think we'll see at least like Man City scoring another like 2 goals to keep that lead, and keep that 2 goal or 3 goal, maybe possibly 2 goals in the second half, um, for Man City, and then definitely go to the next stage. I mean, with this season, with the way the Man City play, brilliant in the backline, solid. I also mentioned that Bayern have a extraordinary fast-paced counter-attack. Maybe not even counter-attack, but fast-paced attack. And when you take a look at Man City's defense with John Stones, Ruben Diaz, Nathan Ake, Rodri in that midfield and stuff, it definitely looks like they're pretty slow. I think, but I think the reason why it's going to be difficult, I think the reason why that backline will still hold up against this fast-paced Bayern team is because I guess tactically, mentally, the have the mentality, the mental, the defensive awareness will definitely help them, so they don't really need the pace because they already know, like, oh, let me go here early on so then I don't lose the pace battle instead. You get what I mean? So that's my thoughts there. And then lastly, versus Napoli. I do believe Napoli are a bit of an overrated team this season. It's difficult because Napoli will be getting back Osimhen. However, at the same time, they will be a man down. As much as I do want to see a Milan derby in the UCL semi-final and possibly the last season together at the San Siro, I do see Napoli coming back 3-1, as well as them being at home will help a lot. I think this. So yeah, as I mentioned on the last game, I think Napoli are a bit of an overrated team, I will say. Especially like they lost 4-0 to AC Milan in a league game, losing 1-0 at the San Siro. They will be home. But as I mentioned, you can't really say like, is Osimhen really gonna help them because he's a goal scoring machine for Napoli? I think yes, he will definitely help, but at the same time, are they also gonna play worse in the build-up play between that defense and to the midfield and then to the attack because of them losing a midfielder due to a red card? So I don't know. Does Osimhen kind of counter? Is he gonna be there to help them Napoli score goals? Or does that not really matter because it's also gonna be harder for them to build up play to the attack because they have lost one man in the midfield. So that's where I also struggle. I think both Napoli and AC Milan are a passionate team. They have this connection. They know each other really well within the team. Like the players know each other really well, how to play with each other within their corresponding teams. But I think Napoli, I don't know. It really depends how AC Milan play as well. I feel like they might play defensively as well. They will definitely try to get that 2-goal difference to make it more challenging for Napoli, but I think that Napoli will make that comeback early on. I think they'll score one within the first 30 minutes, making it 1-1, and then putting the pressure on AC Milan, making that comeback, probably 2-1, 3-1 win for Napoli, making them go to either penalties or going through, depending on a 2-1 win or a 3-1 win for Napoli. But yeah, that is my thoughts over there, guys. If you guys enjoyed today's podcast episode, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell. A bit longer than I expected, 40 minutes, but still, I kind of wanted to come on here and talk about my Premier League team in the season. For now, I think next episode, let's take a look. When should the next episode be? Thursday. I have Friday off. Thursday, school is shorter for me. I might be going to the movie theaters with my friends on Thursday, so we'll see. But if I don't go with them on Thursday, then I think Thursday or Friday. Yeah, if I do go to the theaters on Thursday, on Friday I'll have a next podcast episode talking about the Champions League, round of Champions League quarterfinal, like thoughts, like sum up and see, kind of like make predictions for the semifinals. But then if I don't go to the movies, then we'll do it on Thursday. If I do, then we'll do it on Friday, and hopefully I think I will ask Gareth to come on. I didn't ask last episode for the Champions League talks, but I'll on this next episode, specifically about the Champions League and Europa League, I will be talking with hopefully with Gareth. I will ask him if he wants to come on. But yeah, for now, next episode either Thursday or Friday. I'll let you guys know on my Instagram, on the personal one, and on the podcast one. Both links down below. For now, stay happy, stay positive, and I'll see you later. Peace.